Prologue, The Briefing Room, London. 1965 expanded the fog over Whitehall that December morning was the color of gunmetal, the kind that blurred the lamplight and clung to the iron fences like breath from a dying empire. Inside the lower levels of the Foreign Office passed a row of locked steel doors. A light burned beneath the door marked African Desk, Restricted. 3 men sat around a narrow mahogany table scarred with cigarette burns and the weight of history. The air was thick with tobacco smoke and quiet calculation. A single file sat between them, stamped in bold red ink, Confidential Nigeria. Political Stability Assessment. Beneath the heading lay a set of typewritten pages, annotated in blue pencil oil exploration maps of the Niger Delta. Intelligence briefs from MI6 outposts in Accra and Lagos, and BBC audience reports detailing patterns of media influence in post-independence African states. Sir Andrew Wilkins, the most senior among them, leaned back in his chair. He was a relic of Empire's silver-haired, immaculate in his tailoring, and fluent in the language of subtle control. To his right sat Colonel Henry Mallory, a military attaché from the Defense Intelligence Staff recently returned from Aden. To his left, Elspeth Grant, a communications strategist seconded from the BBC's Overseas Service, whose job was not merely to report the news, but to shape it. Sir Andrew adjusted his cufflinks, the faint clink echoing in the quiet room. "Gentlemen," he began, his voice deliberate, measured, "we cannot afford a unified Nigeria. Not now. Not with the oil fields still under negotiation, and the Soviets extending their reach through Accra and Cairo." Mallory exhaled a plume of smoke. "The Americans are getting restless too. They think they can win over the new republics with aid and Coca-Cola." Sir Andrew gave a thin smile. "Let them try. But Nigeria is not merely another African state. It's the linchpin. Too large, too rich, too proud. A strong federation under one command, especially under those Eastern intellectuals, would turn it into a continental power beyond our orbit." Elspeth flipped through a folder of press briefs. "Public sentiment is fragile. Ethnic loyalties outweigh national identity. Religion divides the North and South. The Prime Minister is losing control of his party. It wouldn't take much just a spark to set off a corrective upheaval." Mallory tapped his pen. "A spark, or a story?" Sir Andrew nodded. "Precisely. A whisper here, a broadcast there. The right intelligence in the wrong hands." He reached for the dossier, revealing beneath it a smaller envelope marked for internal circulation, JIC liaison. Inside were memoranda suggesting that elements of the northern leadership were preparing an armed mobilization to safeguard Islamic interests, in politics a jihad, as one translation put it. Whether this intelligence was authentic, manipulated, or entirely fabricated did not matter. What mattered was its usefulness. "Feed this carefully," Sir Andrew instructed. "Through intermediaries in the Nigerian army. The young officers' idealists, some of them educated in Sandhurst, believe they can save their country from corruption. Let them believe it." Elspeth looked up. "And the BBC will adjust our African service line gradually. Talk of rising instability, sectarian divisions, and the need for reform-minded leadership. Nothing overt, just enough to condition public opinion to make the next act look inevitable." Mallory leaned forward. "And when the storm comes," Sir Andrew's expression hardened, "then, Colonel, we shall do what Britain has always done best. Withdraw visibly, and remain invisibly." A heavy silence followed. Somewhere in the corridor above, a clock struck 9. The Empire, officially dismantled, was merely changing its instruments from battalions to broadcasters, from soldiers to signals. Sir Andrew closed the file, the thud echoing like a gavel on history. "If unity cannot be bought," he said softly, "then division will be engineered." And with that, the Empire's shadow was set in motion, an operation that would ripple across decades, unseen yet unmistakable, guiding the fate of a young nation from a room buried beneath the fog of London. The story you think you know is only the beginning. Stay with us as we uncover what really happened. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because you won't want to miss what's coming next.